You ever notice how everyone with a mic suddenly became a political commentator during the last US election? In 2024, podcasts weren't just entertainment, they were the campaign trail. Politicians didn't need CNN or Fox anymore. They had Theo Von, Andrew Schultz, Adin Ross, the Nelk Boys, and of course, Joe Rogan, the undisputed heavyweight of just asking questions. But now that the dust has settled and the policies are real, a lot of these guys are trying to tap out. Suddenly, they want their shows to be just comedy or just culture. Funny how that works. Let's rewind for a second. The 2024 election was the first one where podcasts truly replaced television for millions of Americans. These weren't polished network interviews. They were raw, hours-long conversations that felt authentic. You weren't being talked at. You were hanging out. That intimacy is what made podcasts so dangerous and so effective. It's not a campaign ad, it's a hangout. And when you hear a candidate joke around with your favorite host, it doesn't sound like propaganda. It sounds like a personality match. The result? Politicians realized they could bypass traditional media filters. No scripts, no press fact checks, just good vibes, laughs, and millions of impressions. That is influence, disguised as casual conversation. Let's talk about the names that dominated this space. Theo Von, the lovable Southern comic who went viral for interviewing Trump on This Past Weekend. It gave Trump a massive pop with young male voters who never touch cable news. But when the Department of Homeland Security later used Theo's clip in a deportation campaign video, he flipped. He demanded they take it down, saying it misrepresented him, that his father was an immigrant and he wasn't okay with being turned into government propaganda.
The Department of Homeland Security put a video up online. They started making like trap beat edits and like banger edits to evicting people from the country, right? Why is the government even making these? I don't know. They put a video of mine that I'd made for somebody in a parking lot, probably like maybe a year and a half ago, just jokingly. The video was a girl had walked up to me and she had said, "Hey, my friend just got deported. What do you have to say?" And I was just like, bye. I was just joking around. So this video goes mega viral, 25 million, 30 million views. It's everywhere. That had me start to get kind of paranoid.
That's the moment the funny interview became a political liability. Andrew Schultz. Schultz brought Trump onto Flagrant and the internet blew up. Millions of views, tons of buzz. After the election, Schultz said he regretted it, claimed he didn't vote for this version of Trump and that America had already made up its mind. Now he's playing both sides, bringing on Democrats like Ro Khanna to show he's not anyone's puppet. Translation? He wants the clout without the consequences. Adin Ross, a Twitch streamer turned political wildcard. He hyped up Trump, gifted him a custom Tesla, and told his millions of young followers to vote red. But recently, Ross went on a stream and admitted, "I really wish I never got into politics."
I had a call with somebody on my team. Can I tell you guys something? Now that I look back on it, I really, really wish I never got into like politics. And I feel like that's a cool thing to like talk about. Obviously, it's like, you know, I just kind of like, I know y'all didn't like that era at all, except for the Trump like stream. Obviously, at the end of the day, it was the president. Like, but like now that I look back at it, it's like, damn, like so many people just tie me to it, and now it's just like, fuck, like no matter what, they don't even get to know who I am because they don't like even want to. Oh, you did this stream with Trump? You know what I'm saying?
No kidding. The internet never forgets. The Nelk Boys, the full send crew who turned frat humor into a media empire. They hosted Netanyahu, courted politicians, and leaned into the bro-right aesthetic. Then they realized their audience was getting divided and sponsors were getting nervous. So now they're taking a break from politics to just have fun again. Translation, the bag is bigger when you're apolitical. And who can forget Joe Rogan, the podfather? He gave Trump a 3-hour unfiltered interview that hit over 20 million views in a single day. That's not a podcast. That is a media event. Afterward, Rogan started to distance himself. He mocked Trump's immigration policies, called the deportation raids insane, and said, quote, "You can't deport innocent gay hairdressers." Now he insists he's not a partisan guy, just a curious one.
First of all, I definitely don't think that the government should be involved ever in dictating what a comedian can or cannot say in a monologue. That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
ICE raids are fucking nuts, man. Watching this protest on television, it's like...
Do you think the raids are nuts?
All of it's nuts.
I think both sides are taking it a little too hard.
Well, I don't think if the Trump administration, if they're running and they said, we're going to go to Home Depot and we're going to arrest all the people at Home Depot, we're going to go to construction sites and we're going to just tackle people at constructions. I don't think anybody would have signed up for that.
But when your audience rivals CNN viewership, just curious becomes a pretty powerful political position. So what changed? Why the sudden retreat from politics? First, regret. Many of these hosts didn't expect their banter to turn into real policy influence. They thought they were just interviewing, not endorsing. But once you lend your platform to a candidate, you lend credibility, whether you mean to or not. Theo Von learned that when his face showed up in a government ad. Second, ideological whiplash. Trump's second term hasn't looked much like the fantasy sold on the campaign trail. Schultz said it best. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. The border raids, the anti-LGBTQ messaging, the culture war fatigue, it's not great for a comic brand built on being open-minded. Third, audience risk. These creators built empires on being fun and edgy, but not polarizing. Going too political splits your fan base and hurts your revenue. No one wants to lose half their audience for one election cycle. And finally, media heat. The bigger you get, the more you attract scrutiny. Suddenly, you're not a dude with a podcast. You are a power broker. And that's a heavy title for guys who just wanted to drink beer and talk trash and make a little money. Here's the ironic part. Every single one of these men has said some version of, "I'm not political," but that's exactly why they were so effective politically. When a politician goes on MSNBC, you expect bias. When they go on Rogan, you expect honesty. That illusion of neutrality is the influence. These hosts turned authenticity into a political delivery system. And now they're realizing that authenticity has consequences. They don't get to say, "We were just talking," because millions of people were listening and acting on it. So where does that leave the rest of us? We're in a world where podcasts have replaced the press, where hangout culture decides elections, and where influencers can shape public opinion more than journalists ever could. The question isn't whether Rogan or Theo Von should be political. The question is whether they can ever stop being political once they've crossed that line. It's a lot like Pandora's box. Because when you make your living off influence, neutrality isn't an option. It's just branding. So yeah, the podcast bros may want out of politics, but politics isn't done with them. Once you've helped steer the ship, you don't get to pretend that you were just along for the ride. Those are my thoughts. You've just watched one of my videos, but did you know there's an entire Antoinette-averse? On my namesake YouTube channel, I dive into current events and share my critical commentary. Over on Instagram, you can keep up with my life as a writer and educational specialist. On the Write Life blog, I explore how reading, writing, and emotional expression help us to grow. And on my Substack, I publish personal essays and sometimes share sneak peeks from my upcoming book. Wherever you join me, thank you for being here. And I'll see you in the next one.